Jesse Shane Kempson, a 26-year-old man living at the City Life Hotel in Auckland, New Zealand, was at the heart of one of the most shocking murder cases of 2018. Beneath the facade of a charming man on Tinder, Kempson hid a disturbed mind, driven by a need for control, power, and a pathological thrill from violence. This story not only recounts his criminal journey in the murder of Grace Mullane, but also deeply analyzes Kempson's psychology, behavior, and motives. Jesse Kempson sat before his phone screen, swiping through Tinder with the confidence of a seasoned predator. He knew how to craft an image, a friendly, successful, and trustworthy man. But behind his easy smile lay a disordered mind, dominated by narcissism and a pathological habit of lying. Kempson had claimed to have cancer, to hold a law degree, or to have connections with celebrities. All lies. These falsehoods were not just for impressing others, but for manipulating them, making people believe he was someone extraordinary. When messaging Grace Mullane, a 22-year-old British backpacker newly arrived in New Zealand, Kempson sensed an opportunity. Grace was the ideal target, a young woman far from home with few acquaintances in Auckland, easily swept up by his charm. He pushed for a date, sending enthusiastic messages, and arranged to meet at Sky City, a bustling area to create a sense of safety. In his mind, Kempson was already sketching a plan to control her. On the afternoon of December 1st, 2018, before meeting Grace, Kempson sat at the Bluestone Room, downing 4 bottles of beer. The alcohol heightened his aggression, but he remained lucid, maintaining a friendly demeanor. Kempson's overconfidence stemmed not only from the buzz of alcohol, but also from his history of violence against women, having assaulted an ex-girlfriend and threatened to kill another. He knew Grace wouldn't recognize the warning signs, and that made him feel invincible. Kempson's predatory psychology was evident in his choice of Grace as a target, a vulnerable backpacker easy to manipulate. His narcissism fueled his craving for validation, while his pathological lying helped him construct a deceptive persona. Alcohol may have reduced his inhibitions, but it didn't impair his awareness, indicating calculated actions. Kempson sought to assert dominance in the new relationship, aiming for control both emotionally and physically. Based on later behavior, he may have been seeking a thrill from controlling or harming someone in intimate situations. On the evening of December 1st, 2018, Kempson met Grace at Sky City. He flashed a charming smile, launching the date with the confidence of a skilled actor. To Grace, he was an intriguing man, and she quickly felt at ease. Kempson led her through multiple bars, Andy's Burger Bar, a Mexican bar, then the Bluestone Room, each stop a deliberate step in his plan to lower her guard. He encouraged Grace to drink, while maintaining intimacy through light touches and smiles. In Kempson's mind, every positive response from Grace was a victory. When she kissed him at the Bluestone Room at 8:54 p.m., he felt he had complete control. That kiss was not just a moment of intimacy, but a signal that he could lure Grace to his private room. Kempson knew that at the City Life Hotel, he would have total command of the environment, and Grace would have no escape. When Grace texted her friend that she clicked so well with Kempson, his confidence surged. He wasn't just manipulating her emotions, he was making her willingly walk into his trap. As they moved through the bars, Kempson may have begun fantasizing about what would happen in room 308, a space where he could exert maximum dominance. Kempson's manipulative charm, a trait of antisocial personality disorder, hid his true intentions. His control grew as Grace responded positively, reinforcing his belief in total manipulation. Kempson sought to isolate Grace in a private space to exert dominance, possibly planning a sexual experience involving control, though it's unclear if he intended to kill at this stage. At around 9:41 p.m., Kempson led Grace into the elevator at the City Life Hotel, his smile still intact. In room 308, he closed the door, and the light from the outside world no longer reached them. Here, Kempson no longer needed to act. He began to act on his darkest instincts. In a chilling moment, Kempson strangled Grace, not for a few seconds, but for 4 to 5 minutes, according to the autopsy report. Bruises on Grace's arms and chest showed she fought back, but Kempson didn't stop. In his mind, this was no accident. The prolonged strangulation revealed a pathological thrill from controlling the victim's life and death. He wanted Grace to belong to him entirely, even if it meant taking her life. When Grace stopped breathing, Kempson didn't panic. He took photos of her body as if to preserve his trophy. At 1:30 a.m., he opened his phone, searching Google for Waitakere Ranges and hottest fire, planning to dispose of the body. Then he slept in the same room with Grace's body, an act that revealed an unnatural calm and complete lack of empathy. Kempson's narcissism reduced Grace to an object for his pleasure, not a person. His thrill from violence, likely tied to sadistic urges, drove him to strangle her for an extended time. Showing zero empathy, he cared only about covering up the crime, not her death. His need for control and thrill-seeking suggested he either intended to kill Grace or simply didn't care if she lived. On the morning of December 2nd, 2018, Kempson stepped out of the elevator at 8 a.m., glancing suspiciously at the camera. While Grace's body lay in room 308, he began a busy day to cover his tracks. He went to the warehouse on Elliott Street, buying a large suitcase, carefully checking its size to ensure Grace's body would fit. He then purchased cleaning supplies, brazenly using Grace's credit card, as if convinced he would never be caught. More disturbingly, just hours after killing Grace, Kempson went on another Tinder date. During the date, he discussed ways to hide a body, possibly to gauge the woman's reaction or to satisfy his sense of power. This act showed that his predatory mindset hadn't paused, and he may have been planning for another victim. That evening, Kempson rented a carpet cleaner to erase blood traces in the room. He used the hotel's trolley to move the suitcase containing Grace's body to a rented Toyota Corolla. On December 3rd, he bought a shovel, drove to the Waitakere Ranges, dug a hole, and buried the suitcase. He then discarded personal items in a trash bin at Albert Park, sent clothes to the dry cleaners, and thoroughly cleaned the rental car. Each step was executed with calm and calculation, as if it were just another day's work. Kempson's calmness and emotional control pointed to antisocial traits, while his arrogance, like using Grace's credit card, revealed deep narcissism. His continued hunting of new victims suggested serial killer potential. His main motive was to dodge responsibility, treating the murder as just another move to feed his narcissistic, predatory instincts. On December 5th, 2018, when police appeared in the City Life Hotel lobby, Kempson tried to slip away, walking as if nothing was amiss. But the sharp eyes of investigators stopped him. In the interrogation room, Kempson began weaving a web of lies. Initially, he denied any involvement, claiming Grace left after the date. When confronted with CCTV evidence, he changed his story, asserting Grace died in an accident during rough sex, invoking 50 Shades of Grey to shift blame onto her. Even when faced with overwhelming evidence, CCTV, Google searches, blood traces, Kempson showed no remorse. He maintained his innocence, only panicking when he realized escape was impossible, requesting to step out for air. This panic stemmed not from guilt, but from fear of capture. During the trial from November 4th to November 22nd, 2019, Kempson stuck to the accident narrative, but the jury rejected it and convicted him of murder. On February 21st, 2020, he was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum non-parole period of 17 years. Appeals in 2020 and 2023 were dismissed. Kempson's lying and blame shifting showed classic narcissistic and antisocial traits. He felt no guilt, only fear of getting caught. His accident excuse was a desperate bid to dodge prison and protect his fake innocent image. Jesse Shane Kempson embodied a sexual predator with a disordered psyche, driven by antisocial and narcissistic personality traits. Through each phase, from preparing the date, luring Grace, committing murder, concealing the crime, to facing justice, he displayed a lack of empathy, manipulation, and a thirst for power. His motives revolved around absolute control, seeking thrills from violence and evading responsibility. His behavior of going on another date and discussing body disposal suggested he could have become a serial killer if not apprehended. This case not only exposed Kempson's pathological psyche, but also sounded a warning about the risks of online dating. Beneath the guise of a charming man, Kempson was a deadly threat, and his story is a painful lesson about the necessity of awareness and personal safety.